back. The 2020 Video Game Awards have been announced, and we have, I guess, an interesting lineup. Let's go through it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
I gotta tell you, man, this year has felt long. And I mean very, very long. I was going through, the list of nominees, and I was like, that came out this year? God, it feels like I played it forever ago. And I mean forever ago, but yeah, apparently there's been a few interesting titles, even though there's been a few delays, but we still got a few good ones. So before we get into it, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also, you can find me on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. I try to do live stream pretty much every day, but at least Tuesday through Thursday at least. But sometimes I don't make it, so if you ever miss an episode, you can always find it on YouTube, because I try to load everything there as well. So let's get into this, because I think it's somewhat interesting, somewhat relevant, and also there's a few things happening, especially in the DC Marvel world, but I want to save that for tomorrow. But let's just begin with this. So we are going to go through the Game Awards, the 2020 Game Awards, because they just announced their nominees, and I'm going to go through every category. So the ones that I don't really care that much about, I'm just going to go through them very quickly. So let's begin with the Best Esports Team. I don't care that much about that, because to me, honestly, you don't have to give an award for the best team. I guess if you're doing a tournament and you win, that's the best team, right? But whatever. Best Esports Team nominees are Damwon Gaming for League of Legends, Dallas Empire Call of Duty, G2 Esports for League of Legends, San Francisco Shock for Overwatch League, and Team Secret Dota for Dota 2. There you go. Let's go through Best Esports Host. Again, this one I guess you can actually give should deserve an award because it's completely different. They're not really competing. But here are the options. Alex Golden Boy Mendes, Alex Machine Richardson, FJ Scholz Deportere, I have no idea how you say that name, James Dash Peterson, and Jorian Schieber van der Heijen. So out of all those, I would go with Golden Boy just because I prefer his nickname. So there you go. In case anybody cared, I honestly don't know who these people are, but I got to go through the whole thing. Next, we have Best Esports Event. This one, I guess an award for it could be good. So you got Blast Premier Spring 2020 European Finals for CSGO, Call of Duty League Championship for 2020, IEM Katowice 2020 for CSGO, League of Legends World Championship 2020, and Overwatch League Grand Finals 2020. I think it's going to be League of Legends, just because I think a buddy of mine was telling me that he saw the championship and it was like millions and millions and millions of people watching it. So all right, just because of that. I mean, I could be wrong, but apparently it was a big deal. Like it was like 3 a.m. over here, and he was like, "We gotta watch it." Like, okay, fine. Best Esports Coach. I don't know any of these people, but the options are Danny Sonic Sorensen for CS:GO, Dae-hee Krusty Park for OWL, Fabian Grabs Lolman for League of Legends, Lee Sefa Jaimin for League of Legends, and Raymond Rambo Luzier for Call of Duty. So just because of that, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the nicknames, the last one. And Zonic with a Z, I like his nickname, but I think Krusty is going to win for OWL. So Dae-hee Krusty Park. I think that's going to win because it's kind of a gross nickname. But anyway, let's continue for Best Esports Athlete. Now, I guess this one, it makes a little bit more sense than team. But again, it's the because I mean, if you're doing a team sport, I get it, because sometimes your team might not win, but you have the best player. Totally understandable. But I don't know. It's one of those things that it's like, dude, if you're the best, you should just win, right? And that should be your reward, actually winning the tournament. Fine. Here are the options: Ian Crimsick Porter, Call of Duty; Heo Showmaker Su, League of Legends; Kim Canyon Jeonbu, League of Legends; Anthony Shatsi Cuevas Castro for Call of Duty; and Matthew Siwoo Heartbeat for CSGO. I'm going to go with the dude who's got the name Showmaker. Just because of that. Again, I'm going based on nothing but nicknames, but Heo Showmaker Su, I'm gonna go for that one just because it's like Shawn Michaels, the showstopper. It kind of goes hand in hand. If you got show in your nickname, unless it's shit show, you're probably pretty good. So there you go. That's my only logic there. Best esports game. No, I guess this is a different thing. It could be which is the most exciting game. Again, honestly, that's the only thing that I'm gonna base it on. So options are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Valorant. All big titles. Valorant, I'm going to get it out of there because I think it's the least popular out of all of these. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is kind of the basic bitch there. No, actually, I think Fortnite is the basic bitch there. You know what? If I said the biggest tournament was going to be League of Legends, I'm going to just keep going at that. So I'm gonna stick with League of Legends because I think people make a buttload of money there, like just selling equipment. It's just because of that. Moving on, we got the best debut game, and the options are Carry On by Phobia Game Studio, Mortal Shell by Cold Symmetry, Raji, an Ancient Epic by Nodding Heads Games, Roki, a Polygon Treehouse, and Phasmophobia, Kinetic Games. Out of this one's the only one that I've heard of Mortal Shell and I've heard of Phasmophobia. The concept of Phasmophobia seemed very interesting. Basically, it's a game that's designed where you have to imagine, and this is how it was described to me. Imagine you're one of the members of the Scooby Squad, and you're trying to solve a mystery with a ghost, except that in order to interact with the ghost, it detects your voice. And so, let's say, for example, you actually have to say, because you're connected to other players, and you have to say, like, Adam, are you in this room? And stuff will appear there. I believe it's VR, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But anyway, the point is you actually have to interact with your voice, and you actually have to put yourself in a situation where you're going to get scared. Like certain ghosts only interact with you if you're in a dark room or if you're by yourself. So, all right. It sounded interesting, so I'll give it that. Next, we have the Content Creator of the Year. This is, fun fact, I guess, could qualify for this one, but I don't believe in that stuff. I don't like signing up on that stuff, and that's why I'm not in the options, guys. That's why I'm not in the running here, because I didn't want to be. Honestly, it seemed unfair. But anyway, we have the options are Elena Pierce, J. Ann Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, and Valkyrie. So out of those, I think Elena Pierce is the only one that I've actually heard of, and I guess it's because they're trying to push her really hard right now, so I'll give it to Elena Pierce. Again, this is all stuff that I don't really know much about. Next, we have Best Multiplayer, and here are our options. We have Animal Crossing: New Horizons by Nintendo, Among Us by Innersloth, Call of Duty Warzone, Infinity Ward by Infinity Ward Activision, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant by Riot Games. So, interesting. It's between, I'm going to eliminate Fall Guys, and I'm going to eliminate Valorant. So it's between Animal Crossings, Among Us, and Call of Duty. Among Us is really hot right now. Really hot right now. However, Animal Crossings was very big because it came out just as the lockdown started, and it was the only way that people could actually have a social life, interact with friends, and they actually had a life outside of their life because they couldn't have a life. Call of Duty has always been popular. So it's between those three. I think the hot one right now is Among Us. However, it's awards. These are awards. It's not necessarily what's the funnest or what's the coolest on the internet right now. It's what writers think is the best, and so it's not really fan pick. So I'm gonna go with Animal Crossing just because I heard a lot of dick sucking came out from reviewers and stuff like that for that game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying more writers drooled when they were talking about that. So I'm going to guess on that. Not necessarily because it's the best one, but I'm just going to go with that. Next, we have Best Sports/Racing. We have Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. Now, I think it's cheating to put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 because it's just basically a remake. However, I don't care. I'm voting with my heart here. And so I'm picking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because I love that game. I love the original one, and I've heard that the newest one is okay. So just because of that. The other ones might be great, but I'm going with that. Also, I'm not a big racing guy, so there you go. Unless it's Mario Kart or Crash Bandicoot or Diddy Kong Racing, not that big of a racing guy. Next, we're moving on to what else? Best Sim Strategy Game. Here are the options: Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and XCOM Chimera Squad. Now, interesting. Gears Tactics, I heard was okay. It just came out. So I honestly, I haven't talked to that many people about it. Flight Simulator has always been popular, and XCOM is a popular franchise. Now, I have not played Chimera Squad, and I don't know much about it, but I know that XCOM is very strong. So if I have to take a guess out of all of these, I'm just going to go with XCOM Chimera Squad, and I'm honestly kind of pissed because I like strategy games. I love strategy games, and none of the ones that I play are here. None of the Total Wars are here. Not even the Game of Thrones. Well, I guess it's a board game, so it doesn't really count. So... but I mean, Total War just came out. Troy came out. So, well, a Total War Tale Troy, but I think that's the title. Just came out this year and it's not there. So, fuck this category, honestly. Anyway, next we have the best family game, and here we have Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4: It's About Time, Fall Guys: Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live: Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, Paper Mario: The Origami King. All very interesting choices. Like I said, Animal Crossing is the one that got the most dick sucking. Mario Kart Live is interesting. Basically, it's you're controlling a Mario go-kart, like an actual kart, like a remote control kart, and basically your house is the track, and you kind of set it up that way. It's an interesting concept, honestly. If I actually had like a bigger place, I might actually want one. Here, it's just going to be the same thing over and over, and I don't trust it. So it seems like a very interesting concept, very clever. Minecraft has always been gigantic. Paper Mario is, if you love it, you love it. Like, honestly, it's one of those, I remember when I played the first time, it's like, oh, Mario just hit somebody. So it's it's fun. If I have to pick best family, my heart wants to go with Mario Kart Live because that's just, it seems so much fun. It's the one that I actually want. I haven't played it though. Minecraft, does it really? I have to go with Minecraft. It's too big. It's too popular. So I'm just going to go Minecraft Dungeons. Next, we have the best fighting game. Here we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Mario Kombat 11, Street Fighter 5, Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, and Under Night in Birth EXE Late. So, I have the only one that I played here is Mortal Kombat 11. I actually quite enjoyed it. I wanted to have One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, because the concept seemed kind of interesting. Basically, you have a time before Saitama shows up, and I mean, if you pick Saitama, and once Saitama shows up, it's pretty much like a guaranteed victory. It seems like an interesting concept because it's about survive. But I guess all fighting games are that. I haven't played it. So the only one that I know the Grand Blue Fantasy is a big title. I didn't play this one. I'm just gonna stick with Mortal Kombat because again, it's the only one that I played. So I'm sticking with Mortal Kombat 11 on that one. Also because honestly, if it's the same thing as all the other, even if it's all the same as all the other Mortal Kombats, it's still pretty good. Because if it ain't broke, don't break it, right? Keep it the same. Next, we have best role-playing game. These are RPGs. And we have Final Fantasy VII, the remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Interesting here. Now, Persona 5 Royal, I think it's cheating because Persona 5 already came out, and Persona 5 Royal is basically the better version of this game, like the deluxe edition that came out a few years later just because they wanted to make more money, right? That's pretty much the pattern with Persona. They come up with the base game, and a few years later they come out with the better version just so they make more money. However, I have heard that it's an extraordinary game. It's extraordinary, according to some people. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I did play it. I did enjoy it. I loved a lot of things from it, particularly the music. But I know that Persona 5 Royal is a bigger deal, so I'm going to give it to Persona 5 Royal, even though I don't think it should count because it didn't come out this year. Well, I guess it technically did come out, and it's one of those games that you're like, it came out this year? Did it come out this year? Really? Damn, this year's been long. But anyway, next we have Best Action Adventure, and here we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just came out, haven't played it. Ghost of Tsushima, loved it. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, haven't played it, but I like the other Marvel Spider-Man, which is great. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, beautiful game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, great, but so far I think it's the weakest on this list that I've played. And The Last of Us Part 2, which is garbage. It should not be here. It's garbage. It's hot fucking garbage. And actually, this is something that concerns me. I already told you. awards are they're given from the press and the writers, and you guys have heard of fake news. And again, if you read the reviews from professionals about The Last of Us Part 2, it's just a whole bunch of dick sucking. And I hated it. It's one of the worst games I've ever had to suffer through. It was stupid. They destroyed the story. They destroyed the characters. It shouldn't win anything story related or gameplay related, but fine. It probably will. It'll win a few things. But the fact that it's even nominated is disgusting. It's disgusting. And if it wins in like Game of the Year or Best Action Adventure, these things, honestly, I won't ever cover them again because they'll lose all credibility. All credibility, at least in my eyes. So out of these, if I have to pick one, Best Action Adventure, I'd go with, because I haven't played Valhalla and I haven't played Miles Morales, so I'm going to go with Ghost of Tsushima because I really enjoyed that one. Anyway, so moving on. We have Best Action, and the options are Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4. Out of all these, I've heard a lot of good things about Hades. I haven't played it yet, but I think that the big kahuna here is Doom Eternal, which is the newest Doom. It's a fantastic first-person shooter. It's the old-school first-person shooter, and I think it might be the best first-person shooter out right now. So I'm giving it to that one. I really, really, really love that game. It's basically the same as the previous Doom, but better. So there you go. And the previous Doom was the best Doom that had ever come out till this day, and then Doom Eternal came out and is even better. So there you go. Next, we have innovation in accessibility. So innovation of accessibility basically is how inclusive the game can be, let's say, with people who have handicaps to play. And apparently, this is something that I just learned about, and here are the options. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, The Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legion. So this one, again, I did not know about, but apparently I'll give it to Last of Us Part 2 because apparently, even if you're blind, you can play this game. Like, there's enough, like, sound cues and the vibration of the remote that you could actually play the game even if you're blind or if you have some sort of handicap. So I'll give it to them there. Again, I've never tried playing it that way, but apparently it has it. So, all right, I'll believe you. And it's actually an interesting thing. Technology-wise, how we're getting there. Like, I have a friend of mine. Shout out to Scott. He's blind, he can't see, but he loves going to the movies. And apparently what they do is they give you like a little device that has headphones, and you have somebody narrating what's happening in one ear, and with the other you're experiencing the dialogue and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting, honestly. I never actually considered, because you know, you have a blind friend, you don't expect him to love going to the movies, but he does. So there you go. Next, we're moving on to Best BR/AR. The options are Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. The one that I've heard the most about here is Half-Life Alyx. I've never been a Half-Life guy, but apparently it's phenomenal. So, all right, I'll give it to them. I've heard enough from people that I trust enough that it's really good. So, okay. Best community support. Honestly, who gives a fuck about this? But okay. You got Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, Fortnite, No Man's Land, and Valorant. Flip a fucking coin. Roll dice. Who cares? I'm just going to give it to Destiny 2 because it's Bungie and I like Bungie. There you go. That's the only reason, and there you go. Next, we have Best Mobile Game, which this one, who really gives a fuck about? But all right. You got Among Us, you got Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. Like I said, I think the one that's hot right now is Among Us. It's been hot for a minute now, and I guess it's a lot of fun. I haven't played it, but what I've seen the memes, and I enjoy the memes. So there you go. I'm going to give it to Among Us. Next, we have, let me see. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell is happening? All right. So we have Best Indie Game, which is Carry On, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer. Out of all these, I've mentioned it already, Hades. Apparently, it's very popular. It's very good. It's very well made. It's a roguelike RPG, action RPG, and it got a lot of love. So I'll give it to Hades there. Moving on to Best Ongoing, we have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. I actually forgot that No Man's Sky actually existed because it had such a crappy start, but apparently it's turning it around. Fortnite is a big title. Call of Duty's always been popular. Destiny 2, I know people who love Destiny 2, love it, but Apex Legends, I'm going to stick it with that one because I don't know why. Just that one is just I'm going with my gut feeling. I've heard really great things about Apex Legends, so I'm gonna stick with that one. Next, we have Games for Impact, which honestly I don't know what that means. But here are the options: If Found, Kentucky Route Zero, Spiritfarer, Tell Me Why, and Through the Darkest of something that I can't read because there's a stupid ad. But honestly, I don't know what this is, so I'm just gonna go with Spiritfarer because I like the name. There you go. Next, we have Best Performance, and you know how video games now have actors, and so the options here are Ashley Johnson as Ellie from The Last of Us, Laura Bailey as Abby from The Last of Us, Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima, Logan Cunningham as Hades from Hades, and Neji Jeter as Miles Morales in Spider-Man's Miles Morales. So, haven't played Miles Morales yet, but from what I saw in the trailer, it looked okay. Logan Cunningham, I haven't played Hades, so it's between Jin Sakai, between Daisuke Tsuji, Laura Bailey, and Ashley Johnson. So, here's an interesting conversation I had with my kid brother. I think that none of the actresses from The Last of Us should get anything because it was so hateable and so terrible. Eric is like, well, I mean, but that's the writing. It's not actually the acting that's the problem. It was the writing. Like, for example, Laura Bailey, who played Abby, I hated Abby. I hated her every second of the game, and it was the writing. Unfortunately, the character was supposed to be, I guess, somewhat likable because at one point you have to like feel for her and stuff. Never happened. I hated her the whole time. And I think it has a lot to do with the performance, and it has to do a lot with the writing. So just because of that, I'm eliminating her. And Ashley Johnson, I also hated Ellie too. So I just hated the game. I still hate it. I'm mad right now just thinking about it. So just because of that, I'm gonna give it to Daisuke Tsuji, my boy, for playing my boy Jin Sakai and Ghost of Tsushima, who's going through a pretty interesting situation. So there you go. That's my pick. He's not gonna make it because again, you know the writers. I've already mentioned this and the dick sucking. You remember that? So there you go. But that's who I would pick. Next, we have Best Audio Design. The options are, the nominees are Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and The Last of Us Part 2. Half-Life Alyx, like I said, I've heard really good stuff about it technically, and the audio design is one of those things. So if I'm guessing, I'm going to go with that one. I'm guessing in all of these, I guess, so that really doesn't matter. Next, we have Best Score and Music. So we have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I love the music. It's nostalgic, it's sad, it's exciting. I loved it. So out of all these, my favorite soundtrack or the best score and music, I'll give it to Final Fantasy VII The Remake. Next, we have Best Art Direction, and the options are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. For this one, I'll give it to Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Art direction is basically all the creative things that they have and they put on screen and stuff like that. The mise en scene, as they call it. And so visually, I think the most impressive one and the most creative one was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So I'll give it to that one. Next, we have Best Narrative, which is kind of basically the best story. We have 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I have no idea what 13 Sentinels is, so I'm eliminating it. Final Fantasy VII, it's not original, but it's a great story. I'll put a pin on it. Ghost of Tsushima, I already talked about. It's great. It's the story of a samurai who has to kind of choose between honor and victory, I guess. How a man goes from being a samurai to a ninja. It's a great story. I loved it. It's dark. Hades, basically the story of the son of Hades trying to escape Hades, or leaving Hades. Straightforward and it's good. Last of Us Part 2 is complete and total hard garbage. It's a piece of shit, but again, a lot of dick sucking. So it'll probably win, but it shouldn't because it's total shit. But if I have to pick, I'm gonna go with Ghost of Tsushima. Just because it's original and Final Fantasy VII isn't. So there you go. Best Game Direction this is the second to last award, by the way. Best Game Direction options are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and The Last of Us Part 2. It should not be The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is complete and total garbage. And I blame the director for this. The director was complete and total garbage, and he was also the writer, and he made complete and total garbage. And the game is boring in a lot of points, and the most exciting stuff is with the most hateable character, and it sucks, and it ruined the story. I fucking hate that game, and I fucking hate that guy, so never. Although, again, like I said, this is probably not the last time I'm going to say it, but there's a lot of dick sucking going on between reviewers and the press, and so it might win it, but it shouldn't. Why? Because it's shit. It's complete and total shit. Just making sure you remember that. Anyway, so which one of the other ones would I pick? Final Fantasy VII had an interesting challenge because you are remaking a classic, a beloved classic. And they did it in a way that it still feels fun, it's exciting, but it still feels like the same game. I think it was very successful. Ghost of Tsushima, completely new, different experience. It felt good. And the beauty of the world is pretty much extraordinary. It feels like a living environment. It's very beautiful, very aesthetic. It's fun to play. The story gives you there, so it was a really good job. Hades, like I said, I haven't played it, but I've heard great things. I don't mean good things, I mean great things. And I'll probably play it eventually because I think it's on the Switch and I need more Switch games. Half-Life Alyx, haven't played it, not a Half-Life guy, but I've heard technically it's very good. Story-wise, I haven't heard it. I haven't heard much. So out of those, the ones that I've played, I've only played 3, and so I'm going to pick the one that I think is best out of those 3, and I'd go Ghost of Tsushima. Finally, the only award that really matters, Game of the Year. And here are our options. The Last of Us Part 2, which is total shit. Next, we have Animal Crossing New Horizons, which came out at a very convenient point in time in this year. Next, we have Hades, the new up-and-comer, the rogue here. Next, we have Ghost of Tsushima, the interesting newcomer, the dark horse. Let's call it the dark horse. Next, we have Final Fantasy Remake, the remake of the classic, or the classic revived, and Doom Eternal. Basically, the juggernaut that just keeps getting better and better. So, out of all of those, I think it's probably going to be Animal Crossing's New Horizon because, again, it came out in a very particular point in time where it became extra popular. And, again, this is about writers and what they're going to give the award to. And I think that they probably spent more time playing Animal Crossing than anything else. If not, it's probably going to be Last of Us Part 2, which it shouldn't because it's total shit. And so anybody, honestly, I'm gonna go through the list of people who voted for this. If I can find the information, I'll go it. And all those people have lost all credibility in my eyes forever because that game was total shit. Finally, I think that the one that's gonna make it, which I forgot that it came out this year because it's this year felt so fucking long. But if I have to pick one, by the way, if you wanna check them out real quick, I'll go through them again. It's Last of Us Part 2. Let me just switch this out. Yeah, Last of Us Part 2. Ghost of Tsushima, Animal Crossing, Hades, Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and Doom Eternal. If I have to pick one of those, I'm sticking with Doom Eternal. I think it was the funnest game. Right now, to me, it's the best first-person shooter out there. So, there you go. My pick would be Doom Eternal. There you go. You're welcome. In case you cared. If you don't, then whatever. It doesn't matter. So, that is it for today. I just went through a whole bunch of really long lists, and honestly, I'm a little burned out. So there you go. That's it. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. We'll go through this list once we know who the awards are, and we'll see which ones I got right and wrong, because that's always fun to see where I mess up. I like messing up sometimes. It makes for good content. Anyway, if you want to join me when I live stream, I do that Monday through Friday. At least I am for it. Usually I miss Mondays because I do doubles that day. But you can join me on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. If you can't join me when I live stream, the videos are up on YouTube eventually. So there you go. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.